Hey everybody, we got a bit of a messy day going on here. Most things are just stuck within a range of the first trading within first hour of the day. You can see the S&Ps here, high and the low, and it's just been chopping back and forth here. So that reversal last week really put a kink in things as far as follow through to the downside or whether we can get some upside going. I mean, ideally, it would have come down here, the S&Ps to test that prior low. And then from there, we could have had some kind of counter trend move. Uh, this 6,000 level in SPX has been, kind of like the battleground for the few months. You could see things get a little above, a little below, above, below. It's just stuck underneath there. So if we could get a close above that and above the 50 MA, well, that would lead us to think that some kind of further upside could happen. Right now, things are just stuck at resistance. These cluster of candle bodies right there, which you can see on the 65-minute chart, and nothing much is happening as far as the S&Ps go. Uh, Qs are similar. I mean, at least they came down to this support level, but it's also in an area just chopping back and forth. The high and the low of the day, just in the middle here, kind of what I call playing ping pong off of support and resistance. Um, so we'll see with today ends how deep it can get into this pretty large green bar. I mean, it wasn't as big as the down bar on Thursday. Right now, things are just consolidating down here. There's really not much to do. I mean, day trades, sure, and individual trades. So, you look at see what is doing well on the day, what's doing bad on the day, gappers. So Airbnb is up on the day. So there's still things out there that look attractive. So what I'd like to see on the 65-minute chart, how it's got that 100% retracement. And when I talked about pre-market, when we looked at what was happening at that time, I said, well, what are they going to do after 100% retracement? Do they break out immediately? Do they go back down? Do they go sideways? So this is one that so far is just going sideways. And if they can hold up here and close strong, well, that would lead me to think that it could continue to move up from that point. It had this big gap up. I guess these are the earnings. Came down here, filled the gap. It's consolidating. So if it can hold up here, I think it can go up. So this one is up on the day, but it gapped up and came back in. So percentage change on the day is a starting point. That looks pretty darn good. I mean, just compared to what we looked at the broader markets, it showed relative strength. It did have a deep retracement down to major support, and now it's come back up again. And you see on the 65-minute, it's right at that pivot there. It's just chopping sideways, but it's something that is holding up and is likely to continue to move higher. And you can just sort this the other way and see what's doing terrible, and old NVIDIA. So there's a deep retracement into Friday's reversal. And Friday's reversal didn't get deep into Thursday's. So just kind of a reaction move to what's happening in the broader markets, and sellers take control. Uh, that's not a good sign for semiconductors, no doubt. And they've been holding up relatively well. I should have, here we go, fill that in there. So if this breaks, if it closes down here, you see it's down near the low of the day now. If this closes down here, this is what we call a continuation pattern. Thursday bar ignited a move under support. It tries to hold a potent reversal down, and that looks like, I'll just drag this down here because that's where we think the next place will go to. Look over to the left, there's a pivot there. And so we'll see where that closes today. And we could look at, I'm on semiconductors now, AVGO. Continuation pattern. That one's got room to fall. It's a little extended, but hey, it can become more extended. That one's on the 200, so not interested in that one. That one's on support. That one's on support, and so on. So as we look through these, we look and see which ones have room to fall, and this one does. So igniting bar, consolidation at the bottom. Week close, if it breaks Friday's low, it should continue to go lower. What's doing well today, up on the day? Real estate. Why? Because interest rates continue to go down. It's going to save the day for these REITs. Healthcare is another defensive one. We covered this in the weekend letter. That broke out. Looks good. Consumer staples, defensive, continues to be strong. And so communications being up on the day, no big deal. Under the 20 MA, it broke down under support. So percentage changes are just a place to start. Financials, little breakout. I don't know if it'll fail, but look, when they go from the bottom of the range to break out above the top of the range, they're likely to stall. And of course, you can see what's doing poorly. And that looks like it's going lower. What looks good, sort it the other way, and pushing up. Look, well, it's close to new all-time highs. Diamonds had the biggest reversal day, and it's reversing down so far. It's holding on top of the 50. It's down near the low of the day. So support, resistance. This would have been a good place. I wasn't looking at it, but this would have been a good place for a day trade short, coming up to a prior pivot and then forming this one and then a retest as a scalper trade. That's a good setup. Oil is sideways but continues to be weak. Interest rates look like they're going to go lower. And pluses and minuses for that. Interest rates going down. Intermediate term is good for the equities. However, it implies a weaker economy or a very poor demand for money. Otherwise, it would be going up. KRE, not doing much of anything. The Russell, that could be a continuation pattern. We'll see where this ends the day. So back down to the lows. Maybe it'll play a little ping pong, and we'll see if it holds there or not. So the big story of the day was the gap up in Bitcoin and filled the gap, and it's coming on to some support. We'll see what it does, but you can see on the 5-minute chart, it's just bouncing back and forth here. So kind of a wait and see as far as swings go and whether things will continue lower or whether they can recover here. So from a swing trading perspective, as far as markets go, it's a stand aside, and we'll see how it unfolds by the end of the day. If you have questions, email us, Greg and Dan at Master Trader.